Look, my camera looks better now. It's better, look. It's more focused.
The camera may look better, but Toby, it can't work miracles on that face.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of the Geek Cast. I am Bobby, the Geek Guru, and I am joined, finally, full cast here. My boys from overseas. I got Toby from the UK and Alan from Scotland. How you doing, Toby?
I'm good. I'm a little bit chilly. It's cold in the UK right now. I'm wearing a hoodie, a jumper, and a t-shirt.
Alan, how are you doing? I don't want to listen to this nonsense.
He's such a little bitch sometimes. I'm good. I'm good. I haven't shaved for a while. I have a pretty decent beard on the go.
Yeah, well, anybody that looks at Toby looks like... Yeah.
He looks like he just woke up.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, you know, some people work from home and they don't need to look good for work. So.
Yeah, well, that's obvious. You nailed that one.
Bastards.
So,
it's Pick on Toby Day.
Exactly. Every day's Pick on Toby Day. So
that's true.
It's been a while since the three of us have been together, and I am very excited about this. We had something else planned prior that kind of fell apart at the very last second, but I wasn't I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, I get to be with my guys, my boys, and kind of just do our flow like we always do. So before we get into the episode, I want to do one thing. I want to tell everybody and remind everybody that next week is the giveaway for the Silver Mario. There is a video on the Geek Guru channel that basically explains the rules. Pretty much you got to ask us a question. Toby will pick 10 questions. I'll pick 10. Alan will pick 10. We may not read them all, but you will be entered. We will read the names of all the people that we picked the best. We're going to try to answer as many questions as possible, and then I will take all the names, drop them in a hat, pull a name. That person wins it all. So that's pretty much it. So let's kick it off. So we're going to start this episode off like we do every episode with our Geek Outs. And Alan, you said you wanted to go last, but are you okay to go first?
I'm okay to go first.
Okay. Go ahead. What are you geeking out about?
Geek TV. I think is kind of a carryover from my last show that I was on. The Flash.
Yes.
Arrow. Shield. Yes. The new teaser for
Shield.
the second season of Daredevil. I'm just so happy.
He is really.
Why don't you sell the Flash to me and Shield? Sell them both because I haven't seen either.
Okay. Well, I'll start with Shield because Shield is kind of the linchpin, I would say, of Marvel's year-round kind of push on keeping their products relevant. Right. First season, first kind of half of the season, really weird. Didn't seem to feel right. Then Captain America: Winter Soldier happened, and that show just that's when it ticked up, and it was from that point. It's been knocking out of the park.
Winter Soldier is the film, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but is that required to know what's going on in the show?
No, they do allude to it, so it makes sense. But if you watch the film, and then the next episode, the way it worked is they aired the episode, and then the film came out, and then a few days later, the next episode aired, and it was it just made so much sense, and it's amazing. And since that point, it's barely faltered in my book. A few weak episodes, but generally all around a great show.
See, I'm torn because I want DC to kind of. I love Grant Gustafson, and I feel like, man, I want him to be the cinematic Flash. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't want those storylines to cross and it gets blurry and stuff. I think that's what hurt Shield the first couple of years, was because they tried to lay too heavily on the cinematic stuff, and they were trying to not do stuff that would mess up their storylines in the cinematic universe.
It's found the balance now.
Yeah, but I think that's the bigger issue for Shield, is the fact that they have to be careful what stories they talk about, because the movies might be like, no, we're going to handle that here. And that's what I love about Flash and Arrow, because it's wide open and they can do anything and they just take off with it. So
the Flash was brilliant. I loved the Flash. They created that mystery, but I always felt like each week, I wasn't kind of like, oh, I want to know more. Why aren't they telling me more about what's going on? They kind of always brought it back to the central mystery that ran through.
Yeah.
But it was very much tonally not lighthearted. It kind of balanced comedy, drama really, really well. And season 2 of the Flash has just been, again, kind of maintaining it.
Yeah.
Is it
thing with the Flash? Sorry?
Is it as good as Daredevil?
It's a different beast, but I would say in terms of quality, yeah, I would say they both stand up. But Daredevil's brutal.
I think quality-wise, it's as good, if not better. I think tone-wise, it's more lighthearted, and Daredevil is a lot more edgier than Flash. Flash is kind of like an up and a peppy kind of show. Like you look at it and you go, man, this is kind of cream puffy, but the stories are so amazing that it just wraps you in. Where what they did was, it started with Arrow. So they did Arrow, and Arrow is the dark, gritty TV show. That's more, obviously because they're on regular TV, they can't really go into either with the language and the brutality that Daredevil does. Marvel kind of gets a little pass with that because it's a pay-for service, so they can go darker and more violent with that show as opposed to Arrow. But Arrow is pretty brutal. I mean, that whole first season, he was killing everybody. So, and then when they introduced the Flash, they went a lot more. They wanted the polar opposite of Arrow. Yeah. With Flash.
It's more poppy, I think, would be the kind of way. But the thing that's going to be interesting for the DC will be, is it Legends of Tomorrow? That's going to be the test. That's a different beast when I look at it. And it's either going to really, really, it's going to be like season 1 of Arrow and Flash. It's going to be great. Or it's going to be, we'll see.
I can't, you know what, though? I can't, knock on wood, I really don't see it going bad. These guys are killing it on all cylinders. Like, and the thing of it is, Toby, is if you're going to watch The Flash, you really want to watch Arrow as well.
I've watched half of the first season of Arrow, but it kind of fell off for me, so I stopped watching it.
It gets much stronger season 2. Like, for me, season 1 was like, okay, I see what you're doing, I like it, I'm into it. Season 2, when that thing hits, because what happened was DC was being very protective at the time, because at the time they were also working on Man of Steel, and they were kind of not wanting to go over the top with it and ruin what they're building with the Man of Steel. And they were also coming off of Smallville, so they were trying to go a different direction than that. The problem was Arrow didn't and doesn't have a lot of villains and things like that. What happened was when the season really started taking off, and they saw the ratings going up, they said, we got to do something here. They started pulling from Batman, and they started pulling a lot of the villains and a lot of storylines per se. Like if you look at some of the stuff that's going on, like it's a lot of Batman stuff. Like in my mind, in my opinion, like in the early days of me reading in the early '80s, like the mid '80s, a lot of stuff that I'm seeing happen, that's stuff that took place in the comics with Batman years ago. So, but about season 2 is when it really ramped up. And then I think, season 3 is when they do the introduction of Flash.
Mm-hmm. And was Flash not introduced season 1? No, it was season 2.
No, season 3.
Mirakuru.
No, season 3 is when Barry Allen shows up.
I think it was season 2.
What is it now? It's season 5, isn't it?
No, we're in season.
Season 4. My bad. So season 2 is when Barry Allen shows up. He winds up. You hear about him getting in the coma and all that stuff. Yeah. Where he is, and then season 3 is where Barry wakes up, and that's where that Flash starts, and then Arrow, and then they started doing cross episodes as well, which is awesome. Like even now, like you watch. I was watching episode 1 of Arrow, and Flash is there's a Oliver Queen looking at a gravesite, and Flash is standing there and they're talking, and then the Flash takes, like, it's a brief 2-second clip, and then he takes off. So I love that interaction. So I really think that if they continue to do that stuff with what was it, Legends of Tomorrow?
Legends of Tomorrow, yeah.
The name's horrible, but if they continue to go with that type of stuff, I really think. And then the other key is Supergirl. You know, Supergirl is in this universe. It's created by the same creators and all that stuff, and there is talks of doing crossovers there as well. But we'll
Didn't
see.
they say recently, though, they're going to kind of distance it from Supergirl, or keep Supergirl away from
There's so many rumors. I mean, there's so many rumors floating around and stuff. I think they're going to basically let season 1 kind of go their own way and see how it works out. If it takes off, I think they'll try. Listen, if ratings start to tank, don't be surprised to see Oliver Queen show up. You know, there. You know, just like Constantine's supposed to show up in Arrow this year.
Oh, I can't wait for that episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So I never watched Constantine either, so that I'm sad that show tanked. I kind of was I was watching so much. There was so much good TV right now. So
the good thing about Constantine is it didn't get that many episodes, so it's definitely worth if you've got like a free day and you want to binge watch something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think we should move on.
Exactly.
I've taken up too much time.
Most of that is just over my head.
So, Toby, what are you geeking out about?
Well, I'm geeking out about October 23rd. Because on that day, everything is hitting at once. We've got Assassin's Creed Syndicate is out on that day. Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes is out on that day. Modern Mario Amiibo, Mewtwo Amiibo. The Amiibo card albums are out on that day, and a new version of RPG Maker is out on that day. So like everything's coming on that one day, and I can't wait.
You know what? I'm looking forward to a lot of that stuff. Like, it's craziness. Like, it's just, I mean, in the United States, we're getting some of that stuff as well. Like, for us, I don't know exactly what we're all getting, but I know that some of this stuff is coming as well, and we just basically just got whaled this past week, yesterday, with all kinds of Amiibo and new Amiibo coming out and stuff. So
didn't Yoshi's Woolly World just come out as well?
Yoshi's Woolly World came out yesterday.
And the Amiibos for that.
The Mega Yarn Yoshi hit as well.
We haven't got that yet. There's no like price or anywhere to pre-order.
It's expensive. It's $40 in the United States. I think Canada it's $60. It's 1 foot tall.
I'm not getting it.
Nah, I'm not gonna get it.
I'm probably gonna get it.
A little bonus geeking out for me is the developer 2 Tribes announced that they're bringing TOBY to the 3DS as an updated version. Apparently, it's already out for 3DS. I didn't know that.
That's awesome.
Because I've got it on Wii U, but
yeah,
they're bringing like an updated version to 3DS. So
I have TOBY 2. I don't have the first one.
TOBY 2, in my opinion, is a different game. It's not as good. Like, I like how the concept of the first one is so tight, and everything about the first one is just so much better, I think.
Really? I had to try it then.
Because, like, in the second one, they've gone, like, open world. So every sort of level is connected. Like, it's not... In the first game, each level is its own unique puzzle, and it's... Usually it's just one screen, and... You know, you just basically got to solve the puzzle. Like, all the mechanics are there, and it's so tightly made that you can't get lost like you can in the second one. It's, I don't know, it's just something more pure about the first one that I like. So
that's good. Myself, I am geeking out about a new video series that I started yesterday, as a matter of fact. And the reason why I'm geeking out about it is not so much it's mainly the outpouring that I got yesterday. Like, it was insane how many people messaged me privately, left comments on the channel, left comments on my Facebook posts. For those that don't know, like, I started, doing a weight loss thing. I'm calling the series The Fat Geek. And pretty much, like, I wasn't sure whether to do it or not. I was kind of nervous, and I was like, man, I'm leaving myself wide open to a lot of bad stuff. And but contrary to my feelings and my beliefs, like, people really, like, wrapped their arms around it and were just like, hey man, and people were like messaging me like, hey, I'm going to do this with you, and which is awesome. You know, it's kind of neat. So so I'm geeking out about it. It's not a geeky thing, but I'm just excited about it, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So you know, it's kind of cool. I'm kind of excited.
Good on you as well.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Thank you. Well, the thing is, like, you're putting yourself out there. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and like I am going to like straight out put myself out there and just be like, you know, this is what I weigh. This is where we're at. This is what's going on. Hey, you know what? Last night I ate pizza. I screwed up. You know, I'm going to calm myself on that stuff.
Aren't you starting your own website, bobbysnudes.com?
The horror.
That's he's a freak. Anyway,
No,
let's move on.
As a former fatty myself,
Be
good
all
on you.
before and after photos.
Thank you, Alan. Yeah,
I lost about 10 stone, but yeah, it's hard work, but once you do it, you feel great.
Yeah.
How much?
10 stone.
Wow.
What's
That's incredible.
10 stone?
What is 10 stone?
10
Because
stone.
you guys do.
10 times.
You
10
do
times is like
pounds.
nearly as much as me.
I think it is 10. Because I used to weigh 20 stones, so I got myself down. Well, 21.
What the heck is 20 stone? Wow, what are stones?
Yeah, I don't know. You say pounds. I don't know what pounds mean.
It's 140 pounds
Okay.
I lost.
You lost 140 pounds?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That's amazing, isn't it?
I have to lose, to be where I want to be, I have to lose 150 pounds. So,
It's hard, but yeah, it's definitely. That's why when you did it, I thought, because Amy and I have been on a health kick as well, or trying to. I thought, well, I'm going to help you. Today I walked to the gym, did a 5K, and then walked back, and now I can't walk. So you were to blame that I can't walk.
well, my thing is I'm taking it slow. Like, I am exercising, I'm doing stuff like that, but I'm just taking it at my own pace. I'm not trying to, like, go into the gym and press 250 pounds like that. I'm taking my time. I'm not going to go crazy with it. So
Also, though, Bobby, in your video, you mentioned you were having those special K bars.
Mhm.
I think that is going a little bit extreme to start off with. I know you said you wanted to push yourself at first, but I think just having one of those bars for breakfast and lunch, I don't know. I don't think that's enough for you.
Well, the thing is like I didn't want to go extreme. I'm just trying to go strict. Like I don't want to get into. Let's put it this way. Typically, like compared to what I was eating, it was like I'm eating additional stuff. I'm eating like that was the first days. So I've expanded from there. Like I'm eating fruit, I'm eating vegetables, as in adjacent to it. The protein bars are more to kind of hold me over, not just, you know.
Yeah, because you can't live off protein bars.
No, not at all. So it was just to jumpstart me and get me moving in the right direction. That's all.
I tell you, if any of the food Nazis out there say you shouldn't be eating fruit, you tell them where to go. Because I sustained myself off nothing but fruit. And they're all like going, oh, there's so much sugar. And it's like, yeah, but it's fruit.
Natural sugar.
It's natural.
Yeah.
It's good sugar. It's not a bad sugar.
So,
okay, let's move along. Let's get geeky, okay?
I'm ready.
Let's get into what we're playing, and we'll kind of move along. Toby, let's kick it with you. What are you playing?
All right, so a week or two ago now, I've just finished Until Dawn on PS4, which was amazing, and I think that is probably, along with Mario Maker, my favourite game of the year. I mean, the story, it went, I don't want to spoil anything, but it went from a really good horror film to more of a sort of thriller / it became like more of a video game rather than a film, you know, because they introduced some elements to it that aren't really as believable, and they are sort of woven throughout the game, but at the start of the game you don't really notice it as much and you're not sure about what it is, but then at the end there's a bit of a reveal, and it's like, a bit disappointed that it wasn't totally grounded in reality. I think it could have been, but I think that the way they tell the story and the way they use jump scares, and you know, there's a lot to love about that game, and it is a big surprise for me, so I really enjoyed that. Also, I've been playing through A Link Between Worlds on Hero Mode on 3DS. So, and I'm finding that it is a bit trickier because you get it's like double or triple damage. So every enemy does like way loads of damage, especially in the Dark World. Like if you're in the Dark World and you take 1 or 2 hits, like most of your health's just gone. So you've got to be really careful and have a lot of fairies with you. But it's sort of creating a new sort of take on the game, and I'm getting more out of it. So
I need to try that. I gotta try that. I was actually thinking about restarting. It's funny because this morning I was like, man, I need to restart this and try it, play it again. Because Link to the Past I played over and over and over again. So I'm like, man, why don't I play this one more than I did? But yeah, that has me like, that's a good idea. Now, is everything set up the same?
It's all the same, but the thing is you have to complete it the first time to unlock hero mode. So you can't just go straight onto it.
Yeah, I beat it. Yeah, I beat it like,
so
it was like a week. I beat it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like additional challenge, really. So.
Yeah. Alan, what are you playing?
I'm still playing Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm 54% through, but I don't know. Bobby, you're playing it as well.
Yes.
Toby, are you playing it?
Nope, I haven't even got it. I'm not even thinking about getting it.
I'm not a big Metal Gear fan, but I love it. Apart from the whole Fultoning sheep and every other thing I can, I literally Fulton everything. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. I got to an end. I got to what I think is the end of the game. But I'm only 54% through. So I don't know if I've completed the story, and now I've just got to go and complete everything on S and get all the...
Because when you do side missions, it does tick your stuff.
Yeah.
So have you done your side missions or no?
Yeah, I've been doing those, kind of just dropping in and out of them, but I'm kind of annoyed if that's the end of the game. And if that is, they need to get Chapter 3 out as DLC, which I think Kojima was kind of teasing.
Well, I think for them, the gist of it was Chapter 1 was basically the true story, and then they kept going with Chapter 2. Like, I don't think that the ending of Chapter 2... But I don't know. I haven't reached the end of Chapter 2. Like, I got pulled away. I haven't been back to Metal Gear for a good week and a half now. So 2 weeks. This will be... Yeah, week and a half I've been away from Metal Gear. So
if that is the ending, it's not going to make you very happy. It's going to annoy you more than anything else. And
I've heard the rumors about Chapter 3.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility. I think that Konami's going to want to jump on anything. They're going to milk this thing as much as they can because it's done. The gravy train's over now.
For that, I'm happy to pay 20, 30 for Chapter 3 and maybe a whole slew of new side missions. I'm happy to pay for it.
Yeah.
I want a satisfying ending.
This game obviously cost a ton to make, and I don't know how much they made back on it, whether they're actually in profit or not, but I think having a Chapter 3, like, it might be more of a necessity for them. Like, if it did really cost as much as everyone thinks it did, then they might need to make some extra content just to become profitable.
Alan, you told me about this. Didn't you say that Kojima tweeted out and reference to Chapter 3?
He was tweeting out references to episode 3s of he did True Detective, and he mentioned Star Wars. It was mentioning Volume 3 of something. It's I think Toby's right. I think there's a money decision. I think they've seen it and said, right, we can sell this full game at 60, and we're not going to make enough money back. Yeah. But what if we wrench out Chapter 3, sell that game at 60, and then we'll double dip, and then we kind of increase. Okay, we may not make a huge profit, but we'll increase what we're taking, because it just feels like it's missing something.
Yeah, but do you really think that they're not making their money back on this? They've had to have sold a boatload of these things.
Yeah, but how long's the game been in production? I mean, I think it all comes back to, I think the reason the relationship broke down with Kojima was over money. And I think there's a big factor that they're we've poured so much in. Are we going to make back our money? And I think it's just different philosophies is why it broke. Now that it's starting to weigh out, you're starting to see it. I think Kojima wanted to take as long as he wanted to take, and apparently he wasn't getting any back end on anything, so he was getting paid the same rate whether he did the game in a year or he did the game in 6 years. Where Konami is paying him the money and they're not getting their money back. So I think that's more where that went.
How much did they pay Kiefer Sutherland as well?
I know, that was ridiculous. But he's horrible. He's hardly in the game.
Really?
Yeah. It's a waste. I would have rather had David Hayter, because at least David Hayter talked.
Isn't he more a lot of the codec calls, aren't they hidden in the menus? You can listen.
They don't do codec calls in this game.
No,
I thought they did, or similar things.
Nope.
You've got cassettes you can collect and you get to listen to. I haven't listened to any of them.
No, I haven't listened to any either. The only ones I listen to are the music ones, basically. But the cassettes are the new codec per se in this game. So yeah, in the past you would have Snake talking to whoever, and they don't do that in this one. It's
Yeah.
just basically people calling him and telling him what to do on the missions and stuff. It's a totally different game. Totally different game than the past. I like it. I'm not knocking it at all, but I just think Keith Sutherland was a waste, honestly.
Yeah.
For myself, the two that I'm playing, well, I'm playing 3 games right now. 2 I'm just going to graze through kind of quickly. Uncharted Collection on PS4. Can't speak highly enough. I love it. Awesome.
Are you sure you're not playing Uncharted 4?
No,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I'm not. I don't. Maybe I was. I could have been. I don't know. I'm lost. Idiots. And then Chibi Robo on the 3DS. And I will say, I am really, really loving Chibi Robo. I didn't think I would. I didn't want the game. I was like, there's no way I'm getting this. I don't want the amiibo. I don't want nothing. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh, you know what? That amiibo looks kind of cool. And I'm going to regret not getting this thing. So I was like, I'm going to get it. And then I got the game, and I was like, you know what? I'll just trade the game in. Take it right to GameStop, trade it in. But you got to open it in order to trade it in. You can't just trade it in. If it's sealed, they think it's stolen from someplace, so they won't trade it in. So I opened it up, and I started playing. I was like, this game's good. It's a fun little game. So I'm like, I'm sticking with it. I'm going to keep playing it. But Yoshi's Woolly World. That's the game. That's that game. I got it yesterday. I am in love. Like, it's the most beautiful game. It's a shame that Nintendo locked Kirby behind the gamepad, where I had to look at the gamepad rather than the screen, because that game was beautiful. I'm not knocking Kirby at all. Kirby was beautiful. Problem is I didn't get to see it, so I don't know how beautiful it was.
That was the Power Paintbrush game, wasn't it?
That was the Rainbow Curse.
The Rainbow Curse.
Yeah,
that was it.
you used the paintbrush. But with Yoshi's Woolly World, I'm looking at it in full HD, and like, it's funny because I'm playing the game and I'm like stuck on it, and Tony is watching me, and she's like,
"Why isn't she playing with you?"
Because we can't play together.
Why not?
Because I start yelling at her.
They don't want to get divorced.
No, yeah, I start yelling at her, and then she starts calling me a jerk and other.
What's the fun of it?
No, she doesn't take. Because what happens is there's a huge parity between our skills. So like, I'm moving at a faster pace. She can't keep up.
The same between me and Karina though, but I pull back a little to help Karina along. Like, if she's struggling, I'll eat her, and then I'll take her and I'll spit her out.
That's fine, but the problem is Tony will grab me, try to run with me, and then we both die. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we have difficulties when we play together. I'm going to try it. I'm definitely going to try it with her. We did very well with Kirby. Like, with Kirby, we worked together, and we kind of seemed to, like, not argue during Kirby. But with Yoshi, yesterday I just started it. She didn't even know I bought it, and we started playing it, or I started playing it. But she likes to just watch, and then she'll watch for a good portion, and then she'll go, I want to play this. When she says I want to play this, it means one of two things. Either she wants to play with me right then and there, or it means she's going to play it after I'm done so she could try it on her own and get a feel for it. And then if she really likes it, she's going to want to probably get it on her Wii U upstairs and play it herself.
I think she will. It's adorable.
Yeah. Listen, I'm sitting there playing, and she's pointing out all the stuff in the backgrounds. And she's like, oh, my God, look at the cloth. Like the
It looks real, some of it. Like,
so... It's phenomenal.
Like, you could imagine like people actually making like little dioramas in real life, and it will look just like it.
It's just mind blowing, and it really does. We discussed this a long time ago, one of our earlier episodes. It makes me so badly feel like, okay, Mario, now it's time for you, and go with a 2D platforming game, because now with Mario Maker, what do? And I feel like that's the jump. So you do a 2D platformer. Give them the clay. Kirby, okay, thank you. You did a good job with it. Move along. Go find something else. Give Mario the clay and let them build a full 2D game out of clay.
I mean, like, the clay would suit Mario, I think, because I think Super Mario RPG on the SNES had that sort of similar clay look to it.
Yeah.
I mean, not quite the same, but you could still picture Mario in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
We shall see.
okay, so we're going to move into our topic. Okay, so rumors started flashing this week about an HD version of Twilight Princess. And then there was also rumors of Skyward Sword showing up on the eShop as Virtual Console. There's a lot of rumors going on right now with Nintendo, obviously, but it sounds and it's starting to feel like Twilight Princess is a reality. What are you guys hearing? What's your feelings?
I think that this could potentially be true because of a few reasons. Because what they found data mining the eShop, it said Twilight Princess HD on the end. Like, why would it have the HD there if it wasn't a re-release? You know, if it was just an eShop of the old one, why would they put the HD there? Also, because I'm pretty sure it's the same engine as, or a different, an altered version of the Wind Waker engine. So it couldn't be that hard. Like, they've already done Wind Waker. Like, how it's not going to be that hard to do Twilight Princess as well. And I think that it would be a good stopgap, stopgap game between Zelda Wii U / NX if it comes to NX. You know, it's a good thing to, because everyone was disappointed when Zelda was delayed, and I think if this was announced, people would be happy.
My question though is, when does it hit? Like it
would have to hit this Christmas, or not, maybe not this Christmas, but like.
But you're talking like they haven't made an announcement about it. So what do they go? Hey, by the way, guys, we got this game and it's going to be out in 3 weeks. Like, that's just.
Well, I don't know.
Everybody would freak out about it. I guarantee you, people would freak out. But still,
I guess, Wind Waker had quite a long distance between them announcing the HD version. But it wasn't 3 weeks, is what I mean.
No, but it was a couple months.
Yeah. So, they might announce it now and it will come out in, like, February, March, maybe.
I think Toby's right. I think the game engine is definitely built on... The Wind Waker engine is what they built Twilight Princess in, so they've got the experience of taking the engine and sticking it on the Wii U. Mm-hmm. What we have to consider the fact is that the Wii U is not going to be here very long, so it's got to come out next year. It doesn't have a I don't envisage they're going to give it a 2017.
No, and as quickly as they turned around, again, we don't know how long they worked on Wind Waker. Like when we heard about it to when we got it was only a couple of months. Like it was like boom, boom. Yeah. How long it took them to get to that? Now let's just assume that the minute Wind Waker HD ended, they moved right into Twilight Princess. If that's the case, then I can see us getting it November, December, or January. I really do.
As well, like we all know that since Iwata's passing, like there's not really been any mention of having a direct. Like everyone's been wanting the direct, but they seem to be put on hold, and a lot of the stuff that would have been announced in direct has kind of just trickled out in various, like on Twitter. So they might have had Twilight Princess planned for a direct, but they've sort of pushed it back and back and back, and then until they're ready to do a direct. So maybe they'll do a direct soon, and it will be in that.
Well, the thing of it is that when they announced the new president, that was obviously the biggest thing for them. Like, let's announce a president, and then we'll move forward. So they announced the new president. We got the new president. We move forward. He did say we are doing direct still. That's going to happen. They're just at this point trying to figure out who does the directs for different regions. Because Iwata did them in Japan as well as the United States. But as years moved on, it started to move to like Bill Trinan and Treehouse people. So in the United States, North America, I think we're covered. We're okay, if Iwata isn't per se in the we have no choice of that matter. But, if they don't bring someone across the board, I think they're more worried about Japan because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Iwata did all of theirs and was basically the Bill Trinan of,
Yeah, he would pass things over to Eiji Aonuma and Miyamoto occasionally as well, so maybe they could take more of a role.
Yeah.
I think the bigger question, though, is do we want Twilight Princess?
I do.
Remade.
I love Twilight Princess.
And if we do, if it is as comprehensive a reboot or remake, should I say, as Wind Waker, what do we want gone? What do we want added?
Well, all right. Clearly, there are problems with Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
The main problem for me is the really long introduction to the game,
Yeah.
where you spend a few hours at least messing around in the village before you even get your outfit and get going to your first dungeon. There's like so much build up there that they could just chop down and sort of just streamline. And I think that would make me most happy, like to just
Agreed.
Maybe some of that stuff can just be optional stuff, like the goat herding. Just make that an optional minigame. Don't force us to do it. And like the fishing and all that, just make it optional.
I think I want the motion controls going. I want to be able to just play with a controller.
I like the motion controls.
I didn't.
But I think a combination of like a choice.
Yes. Well, because let's be honest, they made that game both ways. They did it on the GameCube,
exactly.
The controller. They did it. So for me, just do the controller. Give us that option, one or the other. I would play with the controller. I played it with the motion controls on the Wii. I liked the game. I didn't like the fact that I had to swing the sword and all that stuff. Like, it's just because it's not true one-to-one. It's just
the thing is though, I don't know if they'd go back because after Skyward Sword was like one-to-one. There was so much motion control in that game. It felt good. Like a lot. All right, some people didn't get on with it, but I thought it was a really good part of the game. But I think if they went back to the inaccuracy of Twilight Princess, because Twilight Princess was like it was before they had Motion Plus, so the swinging it wasn't as accurate. It'd feel like a step backwards in that technology, and I don't know if they do that.
Yeah. Before we move to the next thing, the other rumors was Galaxy, Other M, and Skyward Sword hitting the Virtual Console. Where is your feelings on that? Do you think that's just BS, or do you really see that coming?
I think that's true. Obviously, I think
that's true. Yeah.
So they've already got Galaxy 2 on there. Why wouldn't they put the first one on there? As for Skyward Sword, I think it's probably too recent to do a HD re-release of it. Like, I don't know if there'd be any point really. I mean, maybe, but I don't think it'd be much different. But and I saw other games.
If Skyward Sword hit, I would buy that. Like we were talking earlier this week, Toby. That's the one Zelda big console game that I didn't.
Well, yeah, because that was right at the end, wasn't it?
It was right at the end. I had already packed up my Wii. I was onto the PS3, and I just didn't feel like unpacking it again. And I was hearing a lot of complaints about the controls and the story, and I was like, yeah, it was like Other M. Other M, it was the same thing. I was so hyped to buy Other M, and then, boom, I heard all this nonsense, and I was like, do I really want to do it? The only thing that I'm hoping, and this is the truth, the one thing I'm hoping for is if they do put it as a Virtual Console game, it'll lower the price of the cartridges or the discs, and I can actually buy a physical copy.
How much are physical copies in?
They're running like $60-$70.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't want to pay $60-$70 for a 3-4-year-old game. The problem is you can't get them, so it's so difficult. But I wouldn't mind having a physical copy of the game. I mean, I still have my Wind Waker copy, and it's the only Zelda game. I mean, other than the cartridge-based games, I don't have a lot of the discs, so I would like to have that physical.
I will say the announcement of Galaxy coming to Virtual Console and Twilight Princess HD being made kind of scuppers my. I was hoping that we were going to get a sneak announcement of Galaxy HD. That would have been a game.
I feel like
that I would have loved.
The thing is, I don't feel like Galaxy truly needs it could use a little touch up, but I would rather see Sunshine redone. For me, I would rather have the HD of that version because I feel like the controls need to be fixed. And
actually, you're right.
They fixed some things with Wind Waker when they redid that one, which makes me think they're going to refix some things with Twilight Princess because they also fixed things in Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. So I feel like if they were to do a Mario Sunshine, they would fix some camera things.
Yeah.
And I really would like to revisit that game and really try it again. And
I think you're right because Sunshine has more to fix than Galaxy. Like Galaxy 1 and 2 are pretty solid games and they look beautiful as they are, whereas I think Sunshine, you could do more with that. You know, you could spruce up the graphics, sort the camera out, like you say, and it'll be much more worth doing than Galaxy. I mean, maybe they'll save Galaxy 1 or 2 for a double HD disc release or whatever. So.
I mean, I wouldn't mind them. Honestly, what I would love to see them do, and I mean, it's Nintendo. They could do it. They did it to me when I was a kid, and I had no clue it was coming. And do a Mario All Stars again, but do it where it's Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2, throw them in a compilation, but redo. And they did redo, when I originally bought Mario All Stars for the Super Nintendo, they redid all those. And it was awesome. So I wouldn't mind them going back, redoing them, putting them in a big disc, and just saying, here you go, and I would pay $60 for that. I wouldn't even blink an eye. I'd pay the $60 for it because I bought Mario 64 for the Wii U. Horrible.
Yeah. Totally.
It's horrendous, man.
Yeah.
So bad. I loved that game, and it made me look at it and go, this is probably one of the worst Mario games I've ever played. And that's not the case. I know it's a great game.
Did you play the DS version?
No, I did not play the DS.
I played the DS version. I quite like that version. The mini games in that were brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated that version. Sorry, I did.
So if we're talking about Zelda, we're talking about HD. We got the Wii U version that got delayed, and there's rumors back and forth. Will it hit for the Wii U? Will it hit for NX? We got NX rumors this week. And what do you guys, Alan, we'll start with you. What's your feelings about these NX rumors?
I as soon as I heard them, it seemed to grow legs as the day went on. I originally heard this development kits went out, and then by the end of the day, there was this rumor that it's going to have a cutting-edge chip in it. And I was just like, cool. And then I've been thinking back on that, and everything pans with they're going to do a hybrid, but it's but how are they going to do it? What's it going to be? And all I can think is I love tech, so I've been thinking what's going to be in this little thing, and I think I know what chip they're going to go with. I think I know who's going to make it. I think their biggest problem is going to be battery life and getting people to pay $350 plus on a handheld. But I cannot wait for NX. I can't wait to see what this is, because it's going to be very interesting to see if this has been any DNA from the Wii has come across to it. And if I'm lucky, and I think most fans are, I'm happy with the Wii, I'm happy with the Wii U, but I want NX to be something different. I want to see Nintendo change course, and I want to see, a slick UI. I want to see something that's got a kick to it. I want to see the games I've always wanted. But yeah, the rumors make sense with a 2016 announcement, and it's kind of like what happened with Wii U. We started hearing all this when, what Project Cafe, and it was after developers started to get the kits, the stuff started to eke out. So what's more interesting is the next months as we go forward into June next year. What are we going to hear? What more are we going to pick up on this?
Toby, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm just like Alan here. I'm just excited to find out what this thing is. I mean, it would be brilliant because I was saying it's probably going to be more powerful than PS4, Xbox One, which would be interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that would make porting a lot of third-party games from those systems a lot easier. So we'd probably see a lot more third-party support that way. So that would be brilliant. But like Alan was saying as well, how are they? If it is a hybrid thing, how are they going to package it? Are they going to chuck the mobile part of it in with the home console part of it?
Yeah.
Will that jack the price right up? Because if they do it separately, I mean, it could turn out to be like a Vita situation where people don't see the need to have the mobile version of it as much, unless because if the games are developed in conjunction with each system, you wouldn't have different games on the mobile version to the home console version. So that's even less of a reason to own both. Mm-hmm. But then you might be one of the hardcore people that does want to take their games on the go. So I'm just wondering how much it's going to cost and how powerful it's going to be. It's kind of, I don't know, it's just all up in the air.
I mean, we know that the PS4 at launch cost $400.
Hmm.
If you take the PS4, you throw the Vita, you're looking at a $600 bundle if you were to bundle it together. I can honestly see Nintendo coming out and going, okay, this is a two-phase process. This year we're releasing the NX. We're going to get our legs underneath of us. Next year, NX Plus, whatever they call it, the handheld portion of it comes out.
I can see that happening too.
That's why.
And then that being a little bit pricier than your typical. Because I could listen, if Nintendo said it's $400 for the console for the NX, a year from now, I got to shell out another $300 for the handheld portion of it. For me, I'd do it, and I wouldn't even blink an eye at it because I would go, okay, that's fine with me. $700 for this thing. Yeah, it's a little steep, and yes, you're going to scare off the families. You're going to scare off mom and dad and all that stuff.
Well, the thing is, mom and dad buying PS4s for this.
Exactly. And that's the thing that drives me up the wall is all the stuff that we hear lately is, oh, Nintendo's family friendly, and it's got to be cheaper. And listen, Nintendo doesn't have to be cheaper.
No.
Why is Sony winning? Why is Microsoft winning? Because they have a solid system, a powerful system that we're getting top quality games. If you give us the great game, look at, if I got my option to buy Batman Arkham Origins on the PS3, the 360, the Wii U, or next-gen consoles, I'm going to go with next-gen consoles. Why? It's a stronger running system. When you looked at when they're looking at the Wii U as an afterthought and not the first thought, that's why it's struggling. That's why third parties aren't. Arkham Origins ran horribly on the Wii U, or you had slowdown. You had all this nonsense where you had skipping, like you're trying to move and it would skip around. But on the PS3 and on the 360, it didn't do that. So, and then. Because the biggest thing was people were saying, like, oh, we don't need third-party support, and Nintendo fans don't support the third party. Let me explain something to you. I support a third party. TOBY supports third party. ALLAN supports third party. Why don't we support it on Nintendo? Because we get an inferior product.
Yep.
If you give us as good as what the other guys have, or better, we're going with the Nintendo system. But if I'm going to play Assassin's Creed 3, which one am I going to pick? I'm going to pick the one that runs smoothly and I don't have to worry about crashing or whatever happened bad to the game.
Yep.
Watch Dogs. Which one am I going to get? You'd be a moron to buy it on the Wii U as opposed to PS4.
And that Nintendo have got the best exclusives. Like, everyone knows that. I mean,
absolutely.
Sony is getting more good exclusives now, but I think that if you had the Nintendo console that had the Nintendo exclusives, first-party Nintendo games, and you had the best version of the third-party games, then it's a no-brainer. Of course you're going to have the Nintendo console.
There needs to be some serious curbing of expectations. When Toby mentioned it, I've heard the rumor someone saying it's going to be more powerful than the PS4. If you want a handheld that powerful, fine, you're going to spend $1,000 on it because R&D costs to get something that'll work. I mean, the Wii U is the best sign of what Nintendo are going to do. It's going to be efficient. It's going to be. I mean, I figured. I'm looking at it. I think, for example, right, they're going to go with a system on a chip. They've got a strong partnership with AMD, and it's likely going to be based off the x86 stuff. So it's going to be based on their G series of chips, low power, x86 based, quad core. Makes sense. Folk going, it's going to be more powerful than the PS4, setting themselves up to be really unhappy come next June.
Here comes Mr. Reality slapping us in the face.
Well,
sorry,
here's my thing. But here's my thing. I don't need it to be more powerful than the PS4. I need it to be on par with the PS4, at least. If it's a little less powerful, I'm fine with that. It'd be nice if it was as powerful or just a tad more powerful than the PS4. That makes sense. I don't need it to be a time and a half better than the PS4 because that makes no sense whatsoever. Because you're back in that same situation where ultimately we need whatever the developers are doing to work that makes it easy for them to either port it to Nintendo or make it on Nintendo and port it to the other guys. If that doesn't work, they're not gonna support the whatever system, the NX, whatever they ultimately name it in the end. But what has me more excited is this: if they're eliminating, because let's be honest, Wii U's dead in the water. Once the NX hits, if it's a home console, it's dead. If it has a hybrid type situation where you can take your games on the road in Portal, 3DS doesn't have much life left in it after that. Yeah. So what makes me excited about that is now you take all these development teams that Nintendo has that have been split in half. If you took all the games for the past year for the 3DS and the Wii U and made them for one system, I don't think Nintendo really has a major problem. Because you're getting games every month. 1 to 2, maybe 3 games a month from a developer. Nobody's doing that. Ubi's not doing that. EA's not doing that. None of the other guys are doing it. So if Nintendo is able to take all their development teams, pull them back in-house, and give us, a 2D Mario, a 3D Mario, a 2D Zelda, a 3D Zelda, a Metroid game, because that's the thing. Not even you don't have to do the 2D and 3D Mario and all that stuff, but if you could say hey, we can give you a true Metroid game now because our development teams aren't run ragged. We're not making for 2 consoles. We're making for 1 console, and that's it. I think that's the way to go. I think that's where they need to be, is where both of their sides are together and working together and making multiple games for one system.
It's interesting because it could be a dedicated handheld something, or it's you're kind of mooting the idea of you get the home console version and then in a year or 2 years they'll release the handheld equivalent.
Yeah.
And I mean, if that's the case, that makes sense that they're going back to a cartridge setup, or kind of what we're alluding, kind of little cartridges that the 3DS might use, with high capacity. Because then again, it's fast rewrites
But does it have to be as powerful? Does the handheld? It just needs to be very strong. I mean, look, I just bought a Vita. When I play now, not granted, it's not playing every game to perfection, all this stuff, but I got to tell you, a lot of the stuff that I play in remote play looks pretty darn good on the Vita.
But it'll come. It's going to be interesting because there's a lot of variables with whichever we go with, and if they get the handheld right, okay, will the games be scalable? If the handheld's got lower spec, can the game run on it? But what will change to run it? And when you get it on the home console, well, you're getting it 1080p, 60 frames a second, whereas on the handheld, well, it's limited to 720p at 30 frames a second with less visual flair. That's kind of a cool thought. Is that what we're going to see? And like I say, the next few months are going to be mental. If the more we starts leaking out, the more people's minds are just going to go 1,000 miles a minute.
I also feel that the parity between the Wii U and the new 3DS aren't that far off. I mean, we're at the point where the 3DS is playing Wii games, and I mean that only costs us $200 for that, and it's playing Wii games no problem. It's like Chibi Robo. There's some cutscenes in that look really amazing, and even the graphics are strong and they're solid. Now, I think the question is can you play a Yoshi's Woolly World on it, and how would that look? Because that's where the difference is, in a Wii U game. But that's where I'm saying, if I had to pay another $100 for a 3DS, and I'm just saying 3DS because I mean the handheld, but if I had to pay another $300 for a handheld, and you're telling me that my graphics on my handheld would be very close to my home console, I'm good with that. I'm fine with that. And if it's similar to this, let's say that you take your handheld, all right, it's a single screen handheld, whatever, maybe it's like the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance, whatever. You take that away, it has a touch screen on it. You take it out, you go do what you want to do. And then when you bring it back home, you then can become a 2-screen situation.
Yeah.
That intrigues me because then that says to me, hey, can we have Splatoon Day 1? Can we have Mario Maker Day 1? Upgraded versions of these games. to just say like, hey, here you go. That makes me excited because then I say to myself, man, the wide range of games that they could give us day one with this console could help them, you know? Because if you gave us an upgraded Splatoon, you gave us an upgraded Mario Maker, just like better specs, whatever. If you gave us, we don't know what Mario Maker is going to do in the long term. We don't know if they're going to keep pushing out DLC for it or not. But Splatoon is still getting stuff. They're still getting free DLC. That's the one that, like, I feel like that game needs to move to the NX, and for that I feel like you kind of need the 2-screen to do that.
Yeah.
You got to think, right? What form is this handheld version going to come in, if there is a handheld version? And obviously, it also depends on what the actual controller for the NX is going to be. Is it just going to be a standard controller? Is it going to have a screen on it? Because if it's going to be a standard controller, then all your handheld needs to be is like a Vita, right? But so you're not going to have 2 screens, so it's going to be cheaper. You're not going to have your 3D technology, because I reckon they'll just drop that because it will save money. You probably won't have proprietary memory like the Vita has. They'll probably make it cheaper.
So stupid to do.
You know, they probably won't even need, like, they might have a touchscreen, but I mean, if the NX doesn't have a touchscreen feature on the controller, then you won't need it. So it can just be like a bare bones portable, like a phone, really, but it plays your NX games. Yeah. So it doesn't have to have like every new feature under the sun. If it's just primarily designed as a handheld, like take your NX games on the go, then I think they can save a lot of money there. I mean, you know, it could be a basic version and then they add features on a pro version or whatever. But
yeah, I agree.
Agreed. I think the other thing is battery life's a big one. So Nintendo are always sticklers of getting the most. So I think
but how long
it
do you
needs
really,
to 5 hours performance?
But how long do you really run with your 3DS? You know what I mean? Like,
I think lasts ages.
I know it does. It does last forever.
My Wii U gamepad battery lasts 3 hours at most.
Yeah.
I need to get that high capacity battery.
I bought the bigger battery. I bought the bigger battery, and mine runs about 5 to 8 hours, depending on what I'm playing and how much I'm using with it.
If I'm playing Mario Maker, then for some reason it will last less than 2 hours, like dead, from full to dead, like ridiculous.
Okay, so we talked a lot. We're gonna cut it. I think we covered that topic very well. So we're gonna move on to our favorite, Toby's favorite part of the show, the one that he's lost the last 2 weeks. Well, you lost the last 2 weeks, so that's good to go. We're going to play Get Your Facts Straight. For those that don't know what it is, this is the game that we do where all 3 of us will bring 2 facts to the table. We'll read those facts, and then the remaining people have to determine whether it is true or false. We keep track of the score, and Toby typically loses. So, Alan, why don't you go first?
Cool. Well, mine's a Sonic one.
Great.
I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding. Totally not a Sonic one. I did that one for you the last time, Toby. I had your back. Okay, so here's my fact, or is it? Is it fake? Is it made up? The Atari 2600's best-selling game was E.T., the famously binned, dumped in a mine or garbage thing in New Mexico.
I will say true.
You know what? I'm going to say true as well, because the reason that game failed so badly is because they overestimated the sales and they made too many cartridges. So they had loads to get rid of.
Not only that, a lot of people returned the game after.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, that film was massive at the time, so you can see that people would want to pick up the game.
So we both say true.
Yeah, we both say true on that.
Yeah. It is true. E.T. sold 1.5 million copies, with Space Invaders being second after selling 1 million.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy to think that a 1.5 million selling game would absolutely collapse. I mean, the game, when I was a kid playing the game, I didn't think the game was that bad, but I was a kid and I didn't know no better. But my parents hated it, and So, but yeah, that's crazy.
Could you
to think.
imagine if one game could do that to a generation now? Like Metal Gear Solid 5 just brought down the whole industry.
And that's crazy to think that. I also think that it wasn't just E.T.
No, it wasn't.
Because there was like you could do like mail-in package. Like you could collect these backs of boxes from Pillsbury and get like a Pillsbury Doughboy video game.
Yeah.
And it was it was nuts. It was just
there was a lot of shovelware stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot. So, Toby, go ahead. What's your first fact for the week?
Alright, so in the video game The Last of Us on Sony PlayStation 3 and Sony PlayStation 4, somewhere in the game, when you're going through the houses, you can find a sort of a child's drawing on a table of Crash Bandicoot. And it's clearly is Crash Bandicoot, just like the child's drawn it.
Alan?
I'm thinking.
I will say true.
I'm gonna go with. Oh, it sounds believable. I'm gonna go with false just to give a little bit of mix it up a bit.
It is indeed false.
Oh.
There is no Crash Bandicoot. As far as I know, there's no Crash Bandicoot drawing.
I
think there is a Jack and Daxter reference somewhere.
There's a lot of references.
Toy box in the shop.
Yeah.
There's a lot of references in that thing. Okay, so my first fact. Still been playing Yoshi Woolly World a lot. Yoshi was supposed to debut on the NES. True or false?
I thought it was on the NES. Or is it a Game Boy?
No,
game?
like in a Mario
Cookie
game.
And stuff.
In a Mario game.
Oh, in a Mario game.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
He was supposed to debut. His first game
Yeah.
was supposed to be a Mario game. Yoshi Cookie came after
Yeah.
Mario World.
It's true.
I'm gonna go true as well.
It is true. Miyamoto wanted Mario to have like an animal or like a steed that he rode around on. They couldn't get it to work with the NES, the chipset and all that stuff. It just wasn't working out properly. So they did it on the Super Nintendo, the Super Nintendo first. So okay, so you both got that correct.
Mm-hmm.
Alan, what's your next fact?
I'm gonna go back in time. It's not Nintendo, but Valve famously had the game Manhunt. If you don't remember that, listeners or viewers, that's the game where you go around trying not to get killed by various serial killers. Now, one of the killers they removed from the game was a character who would obviously kill you, but he wore exclusively bin bags.
Exclusively what?
Bin bags. He wouldn't wear anything else except bin bags. The black garbage bags.
Okay.
Yeah, garbage bag. Probably doesn't know what a bin is.
What's a bin bag?
Sorry. Sorry.
Listen,
but our colonials over there. Garbage bags.
All our United States listeners were saying the same thing. Like, what the heck's a bin bag? So, don't push it off on me, Tony. So the guy exclusively wore trash bags all over the place.
Trash bags, yes.
I am going to say... Okay, wait. Are you saying one character or the main character?
No, it was one of the killers.
One of the killers.
It wasn't your main character, it was one of the...
I will say true.
Alan, I'm sorry, I know this is true because on my podcast prior to this one, I pulled that fact on my friend, so I know that that's true.
Cheater! Yes,
yeah, I just knew.
Okay.
Yeah, you know a fact.
Right now we are looking at Toby at 3, Alan at 2, and I am at 2 as well. So, Toby, what is your next fact?
You can buy official Cloud Strife perfume.
Me? No, I can't do that. But I think you're saying people... Oh, my Lord. You know what? I'm gonna say true.
True.
It is true. You can. Square sells official Cloud Strife and other Final Fantasy characters.
Because you know what, Japan is so nuts with the stuff, with the merchandising that they do, that nothing surprises me. So I had to say true because I figured.
I mean, what the thing is, what do you think Cloud Strife smells like? I mean,
Sweat.
yeah, who wouldn't
Shame
smell
and
good?
regret.
At this moment, we are all tied. I cannot win. The only thing that can happen is for these two to get it wrong, and we can all tie. But so my final fact is Donkey Kong, Mario, Princess Peach, they were originally supposed to be characters from Popeye. True or false?
What, in the original Donkey Kong game? Arcade game?
Yes.
True.
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 Yes. They Nintendo wanted to make a Popeye game, but they could not acquire the license. So ultimately, when they didn't get the license, they changed the name and the character designs to Mario, Donkey Kong.
Hey, Bobby, guess what?
You're
Guess what,
tied.
Bobby?
You tied.
What? Hang on.
Tied.
I'm on 4, right?
Yeah, Alan's on 4.
Is he?
Yes.
Alan.
Am I?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I said before we went into the question, we're all tied at 3. I said I can't win.
I thought you said we could only tie. Like,
No.
either I would
If
win
you
or
guys,
would
I said
tie.
if you guys got the question wrong, we could only tie.
All right.
So.
All right, fine. Throw another fact at us.
I don't have any more facts. That's it. It's done. You tied. You and Alan tied.
I'm going to take that as a win. I won, Bobby.
That's not a win.
No.
I won. You know what you got to say?
I won.
You got to say that Alan and
I am immortal.
are supreme masters, and you don't know anything, Bobby.
That's fine. I knew 3 things.
Listen,
I knew
Bobby,
3 things. I'm fine.
There's no shame in it. Us. Remember, the Americans kicked us colonials out of their country. Remember? Yeah.
Yeah, as Bobby likes to remind us.
Civil War. So we lord it over him with our knowledge of video game facts.
That's fine. You can.
Modern history.
Oh, I want to hear you say it,
That's what you
Bobby.
need. At the Alan won. Good job, Alan.
No, that we both won. That we are both supremely knowledgeable.
I'm not saying that.
You know nothing. Last podcast that I was on,
handsome.
you said that was the new forfeit.
All I was going to say. The last dude, it's been like a month since we've been on the podcast together.
When it was Karina and I, you said on the next one, if you lose, you have to say that the winner is supremely knowledgeable and I know nothing. That's what you need to say, Bobby.
I don't remember saying.
Just say it.
Listeners, hit Bobby up on the Twitters. And,
yes, hit me up on Twitter and refresh my memory because I don't remember this.
I don't care if I made this up. You need to say it.
I'm not saying it.
I agree to say it if I lose. I just need you to say it right now.
That is all. Thank you guys for listening. If you listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher, we sincerely appreciate that. We'd also appreciate if you just took a couple seconds out of your time to rate us on one of those avenues, whatever you listen to us on. If you watched us on the video portion of YouTube, we also appreciate that as well. Leave us a comment below. What do you think about our predictions? Pretty much predictions, or what we feel is going to happen with the NX. Do you think we're crazy? Do you think we're dead on? Same thing with Twilight Princess. You know, if you had your choice, which game would you prefer to see HD remake done to you? Let us know. Comments below, or send us emails, or tweet us. You can tweet me at the Geek Gurus. Alan is at Alan_Paxton. Toby is at Toby's_take. I'm the only one that's on Instagram. That's the lovely thing that I kind of enjoyed to do. So if you are on Instagram, you could follow me at the Geek Gurus as well. Check out everything we are doing on the Geek Guru channel. Toby, why don't you plug your other channel where you've been doing a lot of stuff recently?
Lately I've got another channel called Married Couple Playing Games, and primarily it's about co-op gaming with my wife, but we've also been doing a lot of sort of real-life games with our friends and some video vlogs, as they like to call them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to start doing more stuff on that channel, so if you want to find us and follow us on there, we'd appreciate a subscribe.
Very good. So, Alan, do you have anything additional to plug, or you
I am a very handsome man. That is
Good
all.
Lord. Thank you guys again. Peace, mother.
Bye.
Cheerio.